Okay. Today's agenda, the main items are what are Atlassian plugins or add-ons, what is ACE, types of Atlassian environment, how add-ons interact with users, communication between the layers, and layer-wise responsibility. Okay, each and every the bullet point will discuss in a detailed manner. Okay, the first point is what are Atlassian plugins or add-ons. With Atlassian plugins development platform, you can create plugins that extend the functionality of Atlassian applications, such as Jira, Confluence, Bitbucket, and others. Okay. Some people will call it as a plugin. Some of them it should call it as a add-ons. But we'll stick to the word plugins here. Okay. The plugin will play the main role is here. Suppose we are using the Jira. Jira is providing some basic functionality. On top of that, if you want some extended functionality, then we go and use the plugins. Okay. There are so many plugins available in the Atlassian marketplace. If those are all suitable for your requirements, we can use it. Or if it is not available for requirements, any add-on, we can develop our own add-on. Okay. In this, I will explain how the architecture of the plugins or add-ons. Okay. The platform consists of a plugin framework and a set of components that provide useful tools to plugin developers. Okay. Next, what is ACE? ACE, Atlassian Connect apps can be written using many different languages, frameworks, and tools. Since Atlassian Connect apps operate remotely over HTTP protocol and can be written with any programming language and web framework. What is ACE? ACE means Atlassian Connect Express. It is a Node.js toolkit for building Atlassian Connect apps. It uses the Node.js Express framework, allowing you to leverage routing, middleware, and templating within a Node.js environment. Atlassian is supporting two types of Atlassian Connect framework. One is for Node.js Express, the other one is for Spring Boot one. If it is the lightweight one, we'll choose the Node.js Express one. If it is the heavyweight one, if you want to maintain the scalability and tuning those things, at that time we will go for the Spring Boot. Okay, that is depending upon the add-on requirement. You can develop the add-on using other than these technologies like Python or .NET. But Atlassian is supporting only these two. Remaining, whatever the technology, if you use it, you have to take the support from community. Okay. Next, what are all the different types of Atlassian environments available for the add-ons? Currently, we have the cloud environment, data center environment, server environment. These are all the traditional environments. Recently, Atlassian came up with the Atlassian Forge that is still in the beta stage. Okay. If you come to the server, you have to maintain your server, and if it is a cloud, you have to maintain either AWS or Google Cloud. You have to maintain and you have to deploy your application. If any upgrade also, you have to maintain it. Coming to the Atlassian Forge, you will develop the plugin and you will hand it over to the Atlassian people. They will maintain, and whenever if you have any upgrade, they will do the upgradation also. So they will maintain on top for you. Remaining all you have to maintain it. Okay. Coming to the next one, how add-ons interact with the users. Suppose whenever you deploy your plugin, it will have the one plugin descriptor that will be registered in the Atlassian application instances. Suppose user is requiring some API, that API check will happen through Atlassian descriptor only. Atlassian application instance server serves those pages to you. Suppose if you request any API, those are also, it will come through the register add-on descriptors only. Whatever the add-on descriptor we configured, through that only it will serve the pages to you. This is the flow. If you suppose if you have some webhooks already configured, that one also it will check your Atlassian connector, then it will give the response back to you. This is the normal flow. Coming to the communication between the layers, if you take entire add-on, we have the UI. UI can be either JavaScript or Bootstrap or simple HTML, or if it is a rich application like React or AngularJS framework. All UI related, anything that doesn't matter here. From the UI, when the request comes to first point is the routes. Routes is the mapping point there. From the routes, it will come to the controller layer. In the controller layer, we'll do the business logic. From the controller layer, it will move to the service layer. In the service layer, we have different types of services, either external services or internal services or REST API, or we may use the data access layer. Depending upon our requested functionality, it will execute either REST API or DB access or external API. Okay, we'll discuss more on what each layer responsibility is. Suppose when you request something from the UI, the request comes to the routes layer. When you requested, we will bind to some URL. That is, suppose if I requested for get usernames, so I have the URL mapping username. That mapping will be binded to the. We have the controller class. We have different methods inside those controllers. That particular method will map to the get username. There, from the route, it will go to that controller, and in that particular method, we'll take the request object, whatever we want, we'll take it completely from the request, all the parameters, we'll do the business logic, we will frame some object, and that object will send to the service. We should not send the direct request object to the service. We have to stop that request object in the controller layer itself. You need to build whatever the object you need to send to service layer. Coming to the service layer, here we have different types of services, either internal services. Suppose I have the user service, either external services. I am using some external API, or Atlassian is providing the REST API. I am using those REST API, or I am accessing the database. Those are all data access layer. Depending upon that, my service will interact with either REST API services, DB access layer, or external services, or intercommunicate with the different services. That will happen in the services layer. Coming to the DB access, there, whatever the native SQL queries you wrote it, those will be executed in the DB access layer. Okay. Excuse me. Coming to the next one, whatever I explained through the layer-wise architecture, my colleague Sarika will demonstrate through code, and will come to know more clarity on those, whatever I have explained. Thank you. Sarika, I'm handing over to you.
Sure, Mahesh. Hi, everyone. So, myself, Sarika Dalal. For today's walkthrough session, I have created an app for the Jira Cloud. I'm using a Node.js along with Atlassian Connect Express toolkit. I have connected my app with external database. So for database, I'm using a PostgreSQL. Here you can see I have already created an app skeleton, and we have added some custom APIs in that. If you're not aware how to create an app skeleton, you can go through the Atlassian documentation, and if you will trigger that command, you will get a similar kind of a skeleton here. So the first point here is we have to understand the importance of the file and what will be the entry point of our files. Okay, so here in this code, we have to understand two important files, config.json and package.json. Package.json will be our entry file, we can say. So before understanding the package JSON, we will understand first the config JSON. Okay, now the config JSON file, you can say we are setting up the environment configuration here. Let's suppose you want to use a application here, like you want to use a you want to set up the local environment, production environment. So here you can set up that configuration. If your app is running on a local environment, what configuration you want to use. So here you can see I have configured a port, the DB related configuration. As I told, I'm using a Postgres SQL. I'm using a adapter and SQLite. Here is my database related configuration. You can set up multiple environment according to your need. You can see this. So this is a production environment. Now this is a place where you can set up the environment. And now let's understand the package.json. So you can see we all know, right? Package.json is an important file when we are using a Node.js application. So this will be the entry point, which will store the metadata about the project and will keep all the required dependency that is needed for to run the app. Okay, so you can see here I'm using a name. I have mentioned here the name, version, the metadata about the project. Here I have mentioned some of the script. Here it is keeping the dependencies that is required to run the code. Apart from that, here the important point we have to understand the scripts. So in this script tag, you can see I have mentioned some scripts here. Okay, out of this script, we have to first understand local script. What this local script is doing. So as I told, we can set up our own environment, and if I want to run the app on my own environment, then I'm setting here the script. And what this script will do, it will set the node environment to local, and then it will call npm run start. Okay, now if I have to run this particular script, what I will use a combination of npm run plus local. What with the local? Local is the key of this particular script. When I will trigger this command, it will set the environment to local, and then it will run npm start. Then here also I'm using a combination of npm run, and then I'm calling a start. Okay, so what it will do, it will call this particular script. Once this script will get called, what it is going to do, it is going to read my app.js file here. Okay, so in the app.js file, you can see here is my app.js file. Here I have imported some required directory. I want to capture the log, so I'm using a logger directory here. Apart from that, I have created a class called express loader. For express loader class, I have created I'm calling here the constructor of that particular class. So once I will call the constructor of this, let's see what is going to happen. So you can see this is my express loader class. Now here I have imported some of the required package that I need. Apart from that, I am calling here the constructor from app.js. So here you can see when I will call the constructor, it will call this particular method setup express. Okay, so once it will come in this method called setup express, what it will do, it will bind the object of express. Here it is binding the object of Atlassian Connect Express with the app. Apart from that, here we are setting up the port. We are setting here some important directory that we need, like a views directory, we need a routes directory, we need a model directory. We'll see that later. So here I am importing that particular directory. This is the setting. Here, this is an important point that we have to understand. So this is a place where we are checking from which environment user is running. It's a local or development environment, okay, or a production environment. Based on that, we will create our server. Okay, so this is the here I am importing the next. I am importing here the model directory. I'm binding here the models. Here I'm binding the routes. Okay. After that, as I told, right, here we are checking the environment type. If it's a dev environment, then we are creating a server on HTTP. If it's a production environment, not a dev environment, then we are setting up the server on the HTTPS based. Okay, here we can set up the configuration of a certificate. So this will help you to host your app. This will help you to host your app. Now, next point here we have to understand. Here we have imported the directory of model routes. What it is going to do. Now you can see I have created a model directory here. In that I have created a index.js file. Now what this index.js file is doing. Now index.js where we have, so in a configuration we have set it the configuration. Now here I am going to configuration I have configured. Now next we have to initialize the object of SQLite. Once I will initialize the object, what it is going to do, it will create a table in my database. I have already given a configuration of my database. Now here I can set up a table, and in that we can configure we can add the columns as well. So here I have initialized that. After that, what I'm going to do, I have imported a file called user detail model. I'm initializing it here. So once I will initialize this, what it will do, it will read this particular file. Then it will create a table called user detail. In that, it will create a column called first name, last name, and client key. Okay, I have created a simple app where it will capture a first name, last name of the user, and it will store it in my database. Here I'm using a client key because I want to understand from which Jira instance this data is getting stored. Okay, so you can see when we are importing our index.js file, after that this particular file will execute and it will create a tables. Okay, now we have created the tables. Now the next point we have to understand is the routes. You can see I have binded a directory called routes. Once I will bind this particular directory, this index.js file will read and it will bind all the files that are present in this folder with the .js extension. It will get binded. So you can see all my routes file, the index.js, main.js, user detail routing, it will get binded with that. And whenever any of the URL will trigger from front end, it will read in a route section. So you can see I have written a code where I'm sending app.get. Whenever any URL will get come here, it will redirect to the Atlassian connect.json. I have mentioned here some of my custom APIs as well, so we will understand that later. Okay. Before understanding this point, let's understand first how our app will interact with Jira. So for interaction of our app with Jira, we have created a Atlassian connect.json file. This file will help us to interact will help us to interact with Jira. Okay, so I have mentioned is the name, key, description, the base URL, authentication type. So Atlassian application will support the authentication type as JWT authentication. We can configure the lifecycle of our app. We can configure the scope. This to our scope is the important role if you want to play if you want to write here, if you want to create an app for a admin kind of functionality. So here we have to change the scope. This is a place where you can configure the Jira module. So you can see I have created a simple page in Jira on header. We can say we can see the location called system top navigation bar. Okay, so what it is going to do, it will create a page on top navigation bar. The name will be hello world. When I will click on that page, it will redirect to the hello world. Okay, so now let's understand when any URL will get triggered. As I mentioned, it will read in a routes. It will read in a route directory. Okay, so in the routes directory in the main.js, you can see I have mentioned app.get hello world. So whenever my app will get hello world URL, it will come here. And from here, we can say response render hello world.jsx. Okay, so from here, it will get rendered to JSX file. What is JSX file here? So I have already imported my views directory here. So you can see I have created a simple JSX file. So here you can use a JSX, HTML, JavaScript, any kind of view related files. You can keep it here and you can define a name of that file. So after this URL will get triggered, it will render the response as a view file. Okay. Now we have come here. Now let me upload my app and let me show you. So you can see I have already uploaded my app in a Atlassian cloud platform and my app is hosted here. Now you can see I have you can see a button called hello world. When I click on this page, it is rendering on a page called hello world page and it will show my that particular page. It will take a time. Before that, let me show you one important point here. In the Atlassian connect.json file, I have mentioned a base URL. Okay, what is the base URL? This base URL is a place where you are hosting your app. As of now, I am using a ngrok for hosting my app. So I have started a ngrok session here. Okay, and I have mentioned that HTTPS URL too in the base URL. And once you will call this URL on a browser, it will automatically redirect to my Atlassian connect.json file. Okay. Just give me a minute. let me check why it is not running. Before that, let's understand the concept first. So you can see here, I have started my app. Okay, so here we have seen the Atlassian Connect.json. Now let's start our server. So why it is not running? Because I have not started my server. Now, as I told in the first, we have to start a server. I will use the npm run and I will give a script name, and I will call npm run local. What it will do, it will set the environment. After that, it will start my server. Okay. Okay, so you can see here it is setting the environment. Once it will set, you can see my app will be available here. Meantime, it is starting. Let's understand the routes. So here you can see I have configured here some of the routings, user detail routing, REST routing. For this each routing class, I have configured a controller class as well. What we are going to do, when a request will be hit from Jira, it will read in a route. From route, it will call the controller class. Controller class, for each controller, we have created a service class as well. So for each controller, there will be a service. And here in the service, we have created the REST services, Postgres services, logger deleted services. So now let's see our app is running or not. So you can see when I will call this, it is redirect to my Atlassian Connect.json file. And this particular URL, you have to upload it in a manage app section from here. Once you will upload, your app will look something like this. After that, you can see I have provided a button on top navigator bar. On click, it will come on a page where it will show us some front-end related files. Let it open. So it will take a time because I'm using a free instance for this. I have created a simple page here where we have given option to capture a first name, last name. And once we'll click on create, it will store it in a database. And here, this is a section where I'm showing the database, all the database name that we have in our table called user detail. So let me show you what I have did. I'm going to give here some name. Okay, so you can see it is getting stored in my database and it is showing here. I can delete as well from here. So for this type of operation, I have created my own custom APIs. Okay, so you can see that APIs I have mentioned in a user detail routing because we are doing an operation on a user detail. So I have created here the API called router.post, router.get, router.delete. What it will do, when we'll click on the create button, it will call this particular create detail API with the post request. It will pass the JWT authentication. If user is authenticated, then only it will move to the controller. Otherwise, it will show a response. Once the user is authenticated, after that, what it is going to do, it will call the create. I'm closing this. But what it is going to do, it will call this create detail method here. Okay. Now this create detail method here, you can see I have created a method here. I am capturing the data which I am getting from the front end. So I have created a JSON object called user detail, and here I am binding that data request.body. This will help me to receive the response which I'm sending from the front end. So here I have prepared the object. After that, as we discussed, like this controller class is not going to do a database interaction. Our service class is going to do that. So from here, we have created a service. We have imported user detail service, and from the user detail service, we are calling this create detail method. So here in the create detail method, you can see I have already imported a Postgres service, and I am passing the user detail model here, because we have to tell the Postgres service in which database we have to which table we have to store this data. So we are creating a Postgres service instance, and we are passing the data which we have received from the database, which we have received from the front end. Sorry. After this getting called, it will call the Postgres service create detail method. Once it will call this create detail method, it will reach to the Postgres service JS, and Postgres service method will do a create or delete or update call to the database. So you can see the layering here. Routing is sending the URL to controller. Controller where we can do our business logic. If you want to process the data before sending it to database, that all kind of business things, business logic, you can write it in a controller. Service class will be the mediator. Here we are not, you can see the difference here. When we are coming on a create detail controller, we have a request and response object. This request and response object, we are not passing to service. Okay, we are passing only the required data. Okay, so from here, our response is going to service, and same way we will get the response. Postgres service will return the response to user detail service. It will return the response to controller. From controller, it will reach out to the routes, and routes will send a response accordingly. Okay, so we have understand the create detail API. Let's understand the get details. So here I am passing. So I want a specific IDs detail. What I'm going to do, I have created a get detail and I'm passing the ID from front end. So I can define it like this. And here I am passing the get detail by ID method. Now here in the get detail by ID method, you can see I'm reading the parameters that I'm passing. So this is the text that I can use, request.param. When I will pass any parameter with the URL, that time I will use the param. If I will pass anything from the body, I will use request.body. Client key will be available with the request context, so we can get it from there. Here also we are passing the service method, and here I am passing the client key and ID. Same way we can write any kind of API. It will support any kind of API like get, post, delete, put, any kind of operation you want to do with the database, you can define it here. Now we have understand, now let's suppose we have to understand if you need any of the Jira's REST API, so you can define that. If you want like a groups, you want to, in your front-end application, you need a groups detail. What you will do in your router, just define a group picker, a simple name, however you want. You can set the you can check the user authentication. Here we are defining the HTTP client, because we have to tell the system for which particular Jira instance you need this groups detail. So here we are initializing the HTTP client. Now, same way we have defined a controller. In this controller, I am calling the REST service, and this REST service will interact with this REST service will call Jira's REST API. Okay, so here you can see when I will call this get groups method in a service, here we are doing the call to Jira's REST API. So here when I will call this, it will return me the response and it will return all the groups for that particular Jira instance. So this is a place, so we have seen all the layering. So we have seen all the layering of routes. I have shown you the config.json file as well, the controller, the loader, models, public. The public directory will help you to create. If you have any CSS, JS file will be there, so you can use that. You can use this view file to keep all of your front-end related file. Yeah, so that's all from my side. I hope I am clear. So Mahesh, I think we can start our session for the QA.
Yeah, Sarika, thank you very much. Hi all, do you have any questions? Please post to us. We'll try to answer those. And if you get any doubts later, you can reach us through mail or Trundle booth, and we'll give the mail IDs of those in the closing slide. You can reach us. Now you can shoot the questions to us.
Mahesh, we have some questions in our chat, so I think we can start with that.
Yeah, sure. Sarika, please.
So user is asking like, what is the difference between ACE and POACH?
Yeah, ACE is Atlas Connect Express, that is completely using the Node.js framework and Express. If you coming to the POACH, that is the latest one, latest framework Atlassian is building on top of the Node.js only. But that is still in the beta stage.
Thanks, Mahesh. So the next question here is, what is RQ and RA? So so it is a request and a response. I think we have mentioned in a slide, right? So it is a request and a response.
Yes.
So next question is from Divya.
Yeah.
So Divya question is like, if she is new with the development, so I will request Divya, you can reach out to the Atlassian documentation, go through that. It will help you to set up the Atlassian Connect Express. Apart from that, it will help you to set up the Node.js as well, where it will guide you the some set of command that is needed when we want to create a skeleton of our app. So I think you can go through the Atlassian documentation. This is a very good point to start.
Yeah, if you have any issues, so please reach us. So we will try to help you. Anything else, Sarika?
No, Mesh. I cannot see any other question there.
Okay. Thank you all. Thank you for attending this session. If you have any questions, you can reach us, either Sarika or myself, or you can reach Trundle both also. We can give the clarity on any doubts, and if you need any help, definitely we'll help you on that. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining our session.